The Varine pack had always valued strength above all else. When Rin was born beneath the crimson moons of Talvos Prime, the elders took one look at the frail, undersized cub and declared their judgment without hesitation. Too weak, Alpha Drevik had growled, his voice echoing through the stone den. The pack cannot afford to waste resources on one who will never hunt, never fight, never survive. Rin's mother had pleaded, but tradition was law among the Varine. By dawn, the smallest cub was cast beyond the territorial markers, left to face the wilderness alone. The pack expected the forest to claim what they would not keep. They were wrong. General Kale Terran of the Terran Colonial Defense Force had not expected to find anything alive in the crash site's vicinity. His scout ship had gone down hard in Talvos Prime's northern continent, and by all calculations, he should have been the only breathing thing for 50 kilometers. Yet there it was, a creature no larger than his forearm. Fur matted with mud and rain, eyes glowing with defiant amber light even as it trembled with hunger and cold. The creature didn't run. It stared at him, assessing, calculating, despite its obvious weakness. Kale recognized intelligence when he saw it. More than that, he recognized something humanity had built an empire upon, the refusal to surrender. "Tough little thing, aren't you?" Kale murmured, extending a ration bar slowly. The creature, the cub, he realized, noting the distinctive markings of the Varine species, sniffed cautiously before accepting the offering. That night, as Kale waited for extraction, he learned the cub could understand him. The Varine were known to the Terran databases as a warrior species, proud and isolationist. This one, however, listened with startling focus as Kale spoke about survival, about tactics, about how humanity had clawed its way from a single endangered planet to spanning dozens of star systems. "Strength isn't just muscle," Kale said, watching the cub devour another ration. "It's adaptability. It's knowing when to fight and when to think. Your pack judged you too quickly." The cub, Rin as Kale would later learn to call him, tilted his head. Something flickered in those amber eyes. Understanding. Purpose. When the rescue shuttle arrived 3 days later, Kyle made a decision that would alter the trajectory of an entire sector. He brought Rin with him. The Terran military academies had never trained a Varine before. The instructors doubted, the cadets mocked, but Rin absorbed everything with relentless focus. Where he lacked physical power, he developed strategy. Where others relied on instinct, he learned to calculate. General Kale Terran became mentor, teacher, and the closest thing Rin had to family. Over the years, the undersized cub transformed, not into the hulking warrior the Varine prized, but into something more dangerous. A tactician, a leader who understood that wars were won in the mind before they were ever fought on the battlefield. By the time Rin reached maturity, he commanded respect from human and alien soldiers alike. His strategic brilliance in the border conflicts earned him a field commission. His unwavering loyalty and tactical innovations during the siege of Talvos made him a legend. But Rin never forgot where he came from. Never forgot the pack that abandoned him to die. 15 standard years after his rejection, Rin returned to Talvos Prime. The Varine had grown bold in their isolation, raiding colonial settlements and attacking trade routes. The Terran Council had authorized a military response, and General Kale Terran recommended the perfect officer to lead it. Commander Rin's fleet dropped from slipspace above Talvos Prime like a hammer of judgment. 50 warships bearing the insignia of the Terran Defense Force filled the sky, their weapons arrays capable of glassing the planet's surface. But Rin had not come for genocide. He had come for justice. The pack's current alpha was still Drevik, older now but no wiser. When the Varine warriors gathered to face what they assumed would be another skirmish with soft-skinned humans, they found themselves surrounded by an army that had perfected warfare to an art form, and at its head stood a Varine. Rin walked through the territorial markers he had been cast beyond as a cub, his armor gleaming with Terran technology, his presence radiating authority that made even the largest warriors step back. Behind him marched 2,000 soldiers, human, Kelvin, Threxian, and others, united under his command. "I am Rin," he announced, his voice amplified across the gathering grounds. "Born of this pack. Rejected by this pack. You deemed me too weak to survive," Alpha Drevik snarled, attempting to salvage pride. "You abandoned your people. You stand with aliens and..." I stand with those who valued what I could become over what I appeared to be. Rin interrupted, his tone cold as void space. General Kale Terran of humanity found me dying in the mud and saw potential. He taught me that true strength isn't measured in fangs and claws, but in wisdom, loyalty, and the courage to protect those weaker than yourself. The general himself stood at Rin's shoulder, gray-haired now but still formidable. Kale placed a hand on Rin's armored back, a gesture of solidarity that spoke volumes. Your raids end today, Rin continued. You have two choices. Accept integration into the Terran coalition with full rights and protections, or face the consequences of your actions. I give you this mercy not because I owe you anything, but because I have learned what you never could. That civilization is built by lifting others up, not casting them aside. The Varine pack, faced with overwhelming force and the living proof of their greatest mistake, Nelt Alpha Drevik was the last to lower his head, shame and disbelief warring in his expression. The cub they had abandoned now commanded an army that could destroy them. Instead, he offered them salvation. Years later, when historians studied the integration of the Vahrin into the greater galactic community, they pointed to that moment as the turning point. The pack that had valued only physical strength learned from humanity's example. That true power came from unity, from seeing potential in the overlooked, from refusing to abandon those who struggled. And at the center of it all stood Rin, once the weakest cub, now a symbol of what humanity had always known, that the greatest strength comes not from the body, but from the unbreakable will to survive, adapt, and prove the doubters wrong. General Kale Terran watched his former student with quiet pride. Humanity had reached across the stars and found a kindred spirit in the most unlikely place. Together, they had proven that compassion could be as powerful as any weapon. The smallest cub had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same.